Right, in this video I'm going to demonstrate how to take a fluorescent light fitting and convert it to a LED fitting. It's actually very simple and I'm not going to waste much time on this video. The first thing you can do, it's optional, you don't have to, is you can take out the regulators, the ballasts. See, one was there and the other one was here. And the reason I'm taking these out is it just makes it heavier. These are what you need for a fluorescent light bulb. So I've taken these out already, and that's what's making this video quicker, is you don't have to watch me disassemble. Then the capacitor, an LED tube that also does not need a capacitor, so you can remove the capacitor. Now I just have the shell. Here is the fluorescent light fitting shell. And now you can see there's no fluorescent lights here, so now it will be, I won't call it a fluorescent light fitting anymore, it'll just be the fitting, and it's very light because there's nothing in it. There's just the terminal block, the end caps, and that's it. So what I've done is I've labeled the polarity here, because LED tubes are polarity specific. For example, here is an LED tube. Now you can see that it says live neutral. Now the beauty of the LED tube is you only need to energize one side. Even though there's pins here on the other side, that is literally just for keeping the globe in place. So this is what makes doing the retrofit very easy. We've got live neutral, we only need to get live and neutral onto one side. So what I've done by installing this, because that's how it would be, I've then labeled live on that side and neutral on this side, so that I can wire up this end cap. Right, so you can open this cap, you can open these. I popped out these little holders, and here's the goodie. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that these copper strips are going to be wired to the right place. For example, I need to know which one of these are going to be live and neutral, and which I can join together. Because remember, it is live, neutral, and these are actually in parallel. So really only need two wires here, because these two are in parallel and these two are in parallel. But the way I'm going to do it, there is going to be one little challenge, and that is one of these wires or pins is actually not connected to anything, because on this particular fitting, as you'll find if you do this often, you'll find that different brands have different ways of laying out the goodies in the fitting. For example, the actual starter was here. So now I don't need this, the fluorescent light doesn't need it. Okay, so let me show you how I'm going to wire up this unit. The first thing is, let me move the camera. The first thing is we need a live and a neutral. So here are two wires, and I'm going to connect a live. Let's make the live brown. And I'm just going to wire it to the terminal block. So I've got a live, and I've got a neutral on this side. So there we go. Live, neutral, brown, white. Brown is live, white is neutral, and the one in the middle, that's the earth, must be screwed onto the chassis. Right, moving on. Now all I need to do is thread this to the side that I'm going to wire it to. Now in this case I'm going to wire it kind of backwards to this side. There we go. Now it needs to be connected. We've got the live, needs to be connected to this live, and the neutral needs to be connected to this neutral and that neutral. And that's it. That's how you retrofit a fluorescent globe to a LED. It's actually more of a process of removing stuff than anything else. Now let's follow these wires. This one is live. I can see there's the copper strip goes here, and there it is. So I need a live to that pin there. See, there's the copper strip, travels here, and there is the pin. Right, and you can see it's wedged. And if you can see when I pull on it, it's actually wedged there. Right. Now the neutral is on this side. There it is. So I need the neutral to be connected there, and then I pull on it and it's tight. Now that would mean one side of the fitting is done. I could only have one globe, because how do I get the other globe to work? So I've got to duplicate it now. So this is where jumpers come in handy. Now as you can see, there are two holes in this on this side. So what I need to do is I need to get this wire into there. I'll just strip it a bit longer because it was a bit short. There we go. And then I'll shove it in there, and it's not dripping, so I will just make sure I can bend this. There we go. Now I'll just press it in there. There we go. It's tight. They're both tight. Perfect. Now I need to make sure that the live goes to the live, because it's a parallel circuit. And I don't need it very long, so I'm just going to clean up the wire there. Now, so what I need is the live to the live. So as far as my wiring is, I can see that live, the strip of the live is there, goes there, there, and there. Ah, problem. It's not connected to these two. So what I need to do is I need to almost bend this guy onto this guy. I need to get these two to touch each other. So what you could do is you could solder it at this point if you wanted to. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend it close to the wire, and I'm going to take it this side and grab it. There we go. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to get my soldering iron and just put a dot of solder there to there, so that if I follow the circuit I can see live there, 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 and I'm going to solder it there, and then I can insert my live wire there. There we go. So that's my jumper. And the last thing is I need neutral here. If you see the neutral, remember I showed you how to do that, and it goes there, there, there. So we just need a jumper for the neutral, and that is a white wire. Use wire strippers rather than using side cutters, because what happens when you use the side cutters, often people bed in there too much, and then they actually put a little kink in the copper strip, and then what happens is that it actually breaks. So this wire has been so this jacket is very tight. I think it's been in the fluorescent light has actually affected it. Yeah, it's like glazed it. Right, so here's the jumper. So I'm going to go from the neutral. As you can see, the neutral goes there. Just insert it there, and now I want to go to the neutral, which is here. So they're going to share a hole here. Well, are they, aren't they? Well, no, they're not. It's not possible to get the neutral in there. So what I can do is when I solder these two wires together, I'm just going to solder these two together. And I can actually run this wire internally. Okay, so I'm going to go get the soldering iron now. Right, now I'm back. I've got the soldering iron. What I want to do is I want to create a jumper from this neutral to this neutral. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to solder and then run a jumper to this neutral. I'm just waiting for the soldering iron to heat up, and then at the same time I want to solder this copper strip to this copper strip, which is what I'm going to do now first. And that's it. Copper is a very good conductor, and as you can see, it totally allows me to solder it very easily. It's already soldered. So it's the dot, and now the neutral to the neutral. I don't anticipate any problem with that because I just saw how quick it soldered. So what I want to do is I just want to make a platform where they can touch each other here. This is a bit too long. There we go. Whoops. Cool, there we go. So I've got the wire and the copper strip right next to each other. All I'm going to, maybe let me start with the solder. Okay, it's tinned. Tinned means you've put solder on the one side, and let's put solder on the copper wire. There we go. So it's now tinned. So now it's much easier because you just literally have to touch it on there. There you go. It's already soldered. Look at that. Put a bit more. Okay, done. There we go. Now I'm just going to thread this wire to the other side where the neutral is. I'm just going to cut it. I'm going to strip it. I'm just going to cut this jacket off. It's gotten glazed from the fluorescent, probably from the fluorescent light. There we go. Now I'm going to tin it. Tinned. Now I'm going to tin the area where I want to solder it onto, which will be here. Done. And now I just have to touch the two together, solder. Okay, just needs a little bit more. Perfect. So according to me, this job is now complete. Now I don't want to push this wire on too hard because I don't want it to be embedded on this. I don't want it to be embedded on this copper strip here because it might eat through the copper, might eat through the jacket. So I'll just rest it, but I don't want to press it hard. Alright, so now let's check. Let's check the circuit. If we want to be really serious here about conductivity, I could just solder these these other coppers together. This is not necessary, this is just called overkill. I mean, I've got the soldering iron here, I might as well just do it. And at least I know that nothing is loose in here. Right. Okay, so according to me, live, neutral, according to the globe, live, neutral. So now what I want to do is I want to take my meter and measure. Here's the meter. Right, so from the live, okay, so I'm touching the live here where I'm going to connect from to the supply here in the corner, and now I want to see on the meter if it's live. Yes, live to live. See, I'm touching the live and the live. Live. Yes, correct. And live. Yes, correct. Neutral, nothing. Neutral, nothing. Now I'm going to move the connector to the, the probe to the neutral side. And I'm going to see if the neutrals are not touching. Neutral, neutral. Live, live. Not touching. And then the last thing is just to check that these two are separated. Yes. And okay, live to live, neutral to neutral. That's correct. And then here, this side, neutral to live, open circuit. So now it is all checked. It is now safe. You can switch off the soldering iron. So all I need to do now is close the back. Okay, and this is a boo-boo because I was supposed to thread the wires through these holes. So what I'll have to do here is actually, I can't pull these wires out now because I've soldered them on. So what I'll have to do is actually cut this. I'll actually have to cut this. I have to cut a gap in here so that these wires can actually fit. Alright, so this was a bit of a boo-boo here because now, so when you do it, make sure you thread. If there's places where you have to thread the wire through, make sure you thread it through there first, because obviously now I've run into a snag here because this has to go on here and these wires are supposed to come through here. So in my case, I'm going to have to actually open it up manually by actually cutting it, which is not really the right way to do it. Well, yeah, so I will have to just open it up and thread the wires through manually. You can also use the soldering iron to just burn a gap here for the wire. There we go. Let's burn a gap here. Here we go. Threaded those through. That's fine. Now it's just these two here. Okay, those two are done. And these two have made a gap. So now we just have to put this on in the right place. One, two, that's it. And these two go there. Perfect. Right, now you just need to put these end caps on. 1, 2. Then we need to insert this wire back in the fitting. Slide the fitting nicely. There we go. Right, now on the other side, because it's not being used, you can just tape up these wires here, because you're not going to use them. Right, so you just tape this part up. And install this on the other side, like so. And now it is ready to be installed on the ceiling. Right, just to recap here, all you need to do is take the live and the neutral to these two, the earth wire, wire it in, put the lid on, and install the globes. Alright, so you might need some screws, the butterfly screws, so it's got a fitting like this at the back, and then that rotates on. Like that. Okay, that's a butterfly. Okay, and then on this side, do the same thing. Do the butterfly at the back. This is for if your ceiling is Rana boards or drywalling, whatever you call it in different countries. We call it Rana boards. Right, so now what you need to do is just take a screwdriver and make a hole in the ceiling, and then screw it in, put the cover on, install the globes, and that's it.